welcome back to another edition of 30 Teams in 30 Days here on Inside the Zone with Mateo. So glad you decided to click on this video, and I hope you're entertained. For those who do not know, my name is Mateo, and I host all the podcasts here on the channel. And if you're wondering, like, well, what in the world is 30 Teams in 30 Days? Well, it's our NBA offseason preview, and normally we only do an episode every Tuesday and every Thursday. But during the month of June, I said, let's do something special. There are 30 teams in the NBA. There are 30 days in the month of June. So every single day through the month of June, we are going through each NBA team, taking a look at their season and also a preview into their off season. We take a deep dive through each NBA team during the month of June. So this is what 30 Teams in 30 Days is. If you like this content, if you have watched a couple of the videos and you like it and are coming back for more and you aren't, please hit that like button and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. You can also type some comments. I always ask questions, multiple questions throughout the video. I say, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know. Actually, do it. It helps the algorithm see, yes, people are enjoying this and commenting, and it pushes it out to even more people because that's what we want. But without further ado, let's just get into it here. This is what the schedule looks like. We go through worst record to best record. So basically, we started with the Wizards, who had the NBA's worst record. I think 17 wins. 17 wins. And then we're going to end with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who had the best record, right? We're on day 12. It's June 12th here when you're seeing this video. And we're talking about the Clippers, who were 42-40. And there's the schedule. So you can take a look when your favorite team's coming up. Or maybe we've already done your favorite team and you haven't seen it, so go ahead and check that out. You can see it. I did make a separate playlist on my channel for all the 30 teams in 30-day episodes. But I'm going to stop yapping. Let's get into it. Mateo's Show batting order. If you're kind of familiar with this channel, you know what this is. But, every podcast episode, we're going to have a Mateo Show batting order, which is just a roadmap to kind of get you an idea where this car is going to go, down the road, right? Are we going to turn left? Are we going to turn right? I don't know. Well, that's the roadmap for you. And there's five things on this batting order for 30 teams in 30 days. It's the same five things every episode. How well did they do last season? Who they should draft? Who they should keep? Who they should target? And what is their early ceiling and floor? And again, today is the LA Clippers. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about the 2025-2026 season to kick things off. We're going to recap the Clippers record, the players, and I'll just give some quick thoughts on their overall NBA season. So here we go. They were 42-40. They were, I believe, 9th in the Western Conference. Their top scorer was Kawhi Leonard. Their top assister was Kawhi Leonard. And their top rebounder was Kawhi Leonard because, he had one heck of a season. Really kind of turn the clocks back a little bit, if you will, and to get some more numbers on this for you, or some specific numbers. Yes, he averaged 27.9 points in 65 games, 6.4 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. Actually was the steals leader as well. He almost averaged 2 steals per game, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, they did trade away James Harden for Darius Garland. So James Harden only played 44 games, but in that time, he was averaging 25 points. Darius Garland, in his 19 games with the Clippers, did average about 20 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. Hopefully, the Clippers are hoping that he is their next future point guard, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Bennedict Mathurin got to play 26 games with the Clippers this season. 17.4 points is what he averaged, with 5.5 rebounds and 2.5 assists. Zubac also got traded. He was a part of that Pacers trade, which we know what happened with that. We'll talk a little bit more about that trade in a second. 14.4 points in 43 games. That was his average. 11 rebounds as well, and 2.2 assists. John Collins, I thought, had a really strong year, averaging 13.6 points. Derrick Jones Jr. averaged 10.1 points, 10 points for Jordan Miller. Brook Lopez averaged 8.5 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Bradley Beal obviously got that season-ending injury 6 games into the season, so he never really got anything going. Chris Dunn played all 82 games, so props to him. He averaged 7.3 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. But yeah, it was a really up and down year, a strange year for the Clippers, who they were able to make the play-in tournament. They almost made the playoffs, and yeah, really the one takeaway I have from this season is Kawhi just earned himself some trade value, and the Clippers probably, after trading James Harden away, it makes the most sense to move on from Kawhi Leonard. And we'll talk a little bit more about potential Kawhi Leonard trades, but he played so well. I just want to, I'm not a huge fan of Kawhi Leonard, not at all, but I want to applaud him because, man, oh man, he had one heck of a season. And I was just really impressed. And I think, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I use that phrase so much because I want to make sure I am giving credit in the right places at the right times because, dude, Mr. Kawhi Leonard, he turned the clocks back, and it was cool to see for sure. But, without that, we're going to jump a little bit quicker into this episode. We're going to move over to the draft because, yes, they have the 5th overall pick. And you might ask, Mateo, how did they end up with the 5th overall pick? Well, they traded Zubac, right? They traded for Zubac. It was actually kind of funny. They said, okay, Pacers, we want Zubac. In return, we'll give you our 1st round pick. Right? Sorry, they traded. Oh my gosh, what is going on? What is going on? Oh my gosh. What is going on? Sorry. The Pacers said, we want Zubac. Oh my gosh. If I don't edit that out, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Boys, I knew this was going to happen. I'm tired. The Pacers said, okay, we want Zubac. They said, okay, give us your 1st round pick. And they said, okay, sure. By the way, the Pacers were the worst team in the league at this point. And they said, okay, we're just going to do a top 4 protected. At the draft lottery, everybody knows what happens. Everybody knows what happened. If you don't, I'm sorry. Well, it ended up at 5. It literally was protected top 4 and then 10 through 14. The only way the Clippers were going to keep that pick, the Pacers were going to lose that pick, is if it landed between picks 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it did. It was hilarious. Shocking. But the Clippers traded away Zubac for the 5th overall pick. And so now a team that isn't too far away, I don't believe, is going to have a top 5 pick in a loaded draft. So let's get to the mock draft like we normally do here on the channel. Bam! There's the mock draft, by the way, at ESPNanalytics.com if you want to use this mock draft simulator. It's pretty accurate. We're going to go right to it. Where are the Clippers at? There they are. Bam! All right, AJ DeBonta number 1, Darren Peterson number 2, Cam Boozer 3, Wilson 4, and now the LA Clippers are on the clock. All right. So I don't think the Clippers trade up, trying to get like a Darren Peterson or something, just because Kawhi is I feel like the only tradable player on that team. Maybe Darius Garland, but even then, I don't think. I mean, okay, you could make a case where you package the 5th overall pick, Darius Garland, and you try to trade up with the Utah Jazz for Darren Peterson. Yes, you could do that. But look at how many guards. This guard class from 5 to 9, really, the most ranked. These guys are so talented. It's such a deep guard class that you don't have to trade up. I don't think they need forwards currently. I think they can find more forwards and centers via free agency, maybe even via a trade. I think they need a guard. They need a guard for perimeter shooting to pair alongside Darius Garland. And any of these guys, personally, would be fine. Keaton Wagler and Darius Acuff are definitely on top of my list. You all know how high I am on Darius Acuff. I think he should go 5th overall. But I'm trying to think best fit here. Darius Acuff is another undersized guard. He's like 6'3". Darius Garland, imagine the Darius backcourt. That would be kind of cool. I don't think they're going to do that just because I don't think they want 2 undersized guards. Imagine a 6'5" Keaton Wagler next to the shorter Darius Garland. I just think that makes the most sense. You could make a case for Michael Brown out of Louisville. He's also 6'5". I think they go a taller guard, though, for their starting lineup. And I think it just overall, it makes the most sense. So we're going to go Keaton Wagler for the Clippers pick. I want to make sure they don't have another pick, and I don't believe they do. Perfect. They have it like second round picks, but we don't care about second rounders. So yeah, I think this could be a very realistic top 5. As we're getting closer and closer to the NBA draft, I think this could be a very realistic top 5. Just how the picks go, but obviously at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But yeah, another, like, if they don't go guard, I could see them going a Daymara. You know how much I've been glazing him recently, especially in that Warriors video. I just don't think they need a center desperately. There's guys in free agency that I think they could target. They still have Brook Lopez for a time. I think in a few years you can try to find that next center, but I think really now, importantly, like even looking here at their depth chart, Chris Dunn is your starting shooting guard. I think you need to upgrade from that, and I'd rather have Chris Dunn be my backup point guard than my starting shooting guard. And even like adding Keaton Wagler, your starting lineup of Darius Garland, Keaton Wagler, Kawhi Leonard, Derek Jones Jr., and Brook Lopez, that's a solid starting 5. It's not going to win you like 50 to 60 games like the Thunder, but they won 42 games with this lineup with a very injured team for the most part, an up and down team. James Harden played the first half, then he was traded. Zubac, right? Same thing. Maybe you could make a case that this team could win 40 games with that roster, or maybe even more, depending on what they do with Kawhi and depending how much they play. I also do want to make sure you guys realize this. Bennedict Mathurin most likely will be that starting shooting guard. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if they do favor the rookie over Bennedict Mathurin. I think coming off that injury, they're still going to give him a shot. They trade for him. Or maybe at the end of the day, they decide not to re-sign him or whatever. But we'll get into that now as we move over to the third part, the start of free agency, because we break down free agency into 2 separate sections. The first part is looking at the team's own free agents. So we're going to take a look at the Clippers free agents, and bam. Yeah, Bennedict Mathurin is a free agent. He is a restricted free agent, and he's a bird. So meaning they can go over the salary cap to extend him to another contract. John Collins here. Well, we're just gonna go up to down, or we're gonna go down. I think that makes the most sense. Down this list of players here who are free agents. John Collins made $25 million last year at 28 years old. He's kind of in the prime of his career. He's an unrestricted free agent. Me personally, is this a hot take to say, I think we're going to let that money go somewhere else? Me personally, I think John Collins, I think Bogdanovich, who's also older, he has a club option for $16 million at 34 years old. I'd say decline it. Just saying. Even Brook Lopez. I think Brook Lopez out of them, even though he is the oldest, I think you accept his $9 million club option. I think that's pretty chill. But I think you save $30+ million by not re-signing them. I think that's more important for a team that's headed more towards a rebuild. Obviously, though, we'll see. If Kawhi wants to stay, maybe you do bring back John Collins. But I think Bogdanovich is for sure. You decline his club option. You don't need that. Bennedict Mathurin, I think you do re-sign. I think you are in a pretty chill situation with him. Nicholas Batum, at 38 years old, you can take, or I'm going to leave that up for you to decide what they should do. Bradley Beal is probably going to take his $5.6 million player option. That makes a lot of sense. Jordan Miller, Kobe Sanders, Sean Padula, I think all 3 of these guys, you pick up their club options or their 2-way contracts. I think it just makes sense. But yeah, I think you can, with some of these salaries, oh boy, I don't know what just happened with my, I don't know what just happened. That's funny. I don't know what just happened with that thing, but I do think you can save a lot of money, and I think you're in a very good situation there. Moving on, though, to predicting who the Clippers will pursue. I've come together with some targets here from free agency, some unrestricted free agents that I think they could sign. And here they are, Mitchell Robinson. And in parentheses, I say yes again because Mitchell Robinson, about every single team that needs a center, I put him on this list just because. I mean, you see how well he's playing in the finals. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. I don't know if the Knicks are going to have enough money to re-sign him. I think you should definitely have him at the top of your target list because he could be insane. Rui Hachimura, I think moving him from the Lakers to the Clippers could be a good fit. He could if you maybe move away from John Collins and you say, okay, we're gonna actually maybe even keep Kawhi Leonard and Rui Hachimura. I like that duo of forwards a little bit better than John Collins and Kawhi Leonard. And then if you want to go full out for center, Kristaps Porzingis is going to be an unrestricted free agent. Me personally, I don't think the Warriors are going to re-sign him, but again, I wouldn't be surprised also if they do. He might be available, and I think you should, if you want to go that route, Mitchell Robinson or Kristaps Porzingis is the perfect opportunity for a power forward or a center. I think they both have solid rebounding skills. Porzingis are a little questionable, but at the end of the day, two of those guys solid. Rui Hachimura solid. But then also, if you need a guard to play alongside Darius Garland, and maybe sure you do take that Keaton Wagler with pick 5. There's some other guys in free agency that are unrestricted free agents that could be interesting to build alongside Darius Garland. Anthony Simons and Kobe White could both help just be some ball handlers. So, because I do think Darius Garland, his ball handling skills are a little suspicious sometimes. It's a little funny how it works. He's a good player, but there's something about him that everybody's kind of hesitant about. And Kobe White's a pretty dang good ball handler. And then Anthony Simons could just play well against anybody. So those guys, all 5 of those names really intrigue me. I'm just going to throw them out, especially Clipper fans. Let me know in the comments down below if you think these are solid targets. Are you interested in any of these? Are you interested? Is there one that you aren't interested in? Let me know why and who in the comments down below. But we always do some trades, and I spend a long time usually with these trades. I'm making this episode a little shorter today. We just came off of a 53-minute Bucks episode because we went through all the Giannis trade possibilities. But me personally here, the Clippers really should be trying to just find anything they can. They should be content with anything they can get for Kawhi Leonard. I do think Kawhi Leonard, his trade value is going to be a little higher because he's, again, coming off an insane season. And for this, I don't necessarily know who's totally interested. I have an idea. Like the Timberwolves, as a Timberwolves fan, I don't want him, but he's been linked, so we'll figure out that. But the Warriors have been linked. I think Warrior fans don't necessarily want him. They'd rather have like LeBron or Giannis. The Rockets have been. And ESPN put a weird, interesting trade idea. And this one involved Alfred Şengün. And I thought this was actually really interesting. I don't remember the full details. I didn't actually save the trade. It was on ESPN. You could probably find it some other place. But pairing up Kawhi and KD alongside like Amen Thompson, that's what their idea was, and a lot of people actually liked this idea. So let's play it. And Alfred Şengün, you gotta love him, but if the Rockets are trying to win now, right, with KD and Kawhi wants to win, so it's a 1-year deal too. Kawhi's an expiring deal, so you'd pay him $50 million. Sure, that's a lot, but at the end of the day, then you don't have to pay him next year, and you can open up money for free agency, which is going to be crazy next year as well. So Şengün would go over to the Clippers, and then I believe Steven Adams was involved in here, but I think Steven Adams should probably stay just so you have some setup. I mean, they do have Clint Capella as well. I just want to see. We're going to click try trade just so we can see $5 million. You just have to include $5 more million. So Şengün for Kawhi, I think that's a solid straight up trade, but you can't do it straight up. You need about $5 million. So maybe it is Clint Capella. Maybe it is, I think that's going to probably be Clint Capella. Clint Capella, you got 2 years left on his deal. Trade him to the Clippers. So Şengün and Capella for Kawhi Leonard, maybe solid. Maybe you have to give up a first round pick via Phoenix. You got that trade. Maybe you'd put it in. This could go with or without the pick. I don't think. I think Şengün has so much potential that you'd consider this maybe a pick, Şengün, and then Capella you just throw in for salary. It works. The Rockets don't have to give up too much either. It's an interesting trade, but another team that's also been reportedly interested in Kawhi has been the Heat, because the Heat are just they're always reportedly interested in stars at the offseason. But Tyler Hero, that expiring deal would probably go through this. And you'd pair Garland and Hero up for the at least one season, maybe more. You could maybe look to extend. Kawhi would end up playing with Bam Adebayo. That's a very interesting duo. Just got to say. And then again, I want to make sure $8 million, perfect. $8 million need to go out for the Heat, and then this works. So again, Tyler Hero and expiring. Maybe you have to give somebody making a little bit more money. Davion Mitchell, I think you keep Mitchell. Maybe it is Nikola Jovic, 22 years old. Maybe that's a little too much, but since Hero is on expiring deal, there's a sense where this could be a very fair deal. Hero, Jovic for Kawhi. Maybe you add a pick. There's tradable picks for the Heat. The Heat have a lot of them. And I think both of these teams actually would favor from both of these trades. But yeah, I mean, like, how many picks? Like, you could do really anything. You could even do like a later first, like a 2031 pick. And I mean, it would go through. Yep, it'd go through. Maybe that's even too much. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think Kawhi's trade value is? I think it kind of depends on the team. I think the Heat are definitely going to try to pursue Giannis. I mean, they've probably made that more clear than anybody. But I thought I'd throw them in here. But me personally, out of those because ESPN threw in a bunch of trades or hypothetical trades for Kawhi, the one that caught my eye the most was Detroit, because I think it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Detroit needing that veteran. Imagine Cade, Kawhi, and then probably what you'd have is Jalen Duren as your third star. And he obviously he didn't have a great postseason, but he had a good regular season. And you actually wouldn't be surprised. This is actually pretty easy because you have some bigger contracts, and I think Isaiah Stewart would be involved. You get a center. The Clippers get a center. I think Duncan Robinson would probably be involved as well. And then I want to, again, try the trade, see what needs to go happen. $11 million need to be sent out from the Pistons organization. So again, you could do Azar Thompson, and it works perfectly salary-wise. And now, though, Azar Thompson is an expiring deal, and then Isaiah Stewart, 2 years, Duncan Robinson 2 years, and Robinson's 32 years old. I think there was like 2 picks involved. I think you would. No, there are 3 picks. I think 3 first-round picks involved. I don't think you would need that many picks. I think a 28 first-round pick the Clippers could give, and then potentially like a 2030 first-round pick. That could work. And would it go through? Yes, it would. So 2 firsts, Robinson, Stewart, and Thompson for Kawhi. It makes fair sense. I think Kawhi in Detroit, no matter what the return is, makes a lot of sense. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. None of these trades are meant to be exactly realistic. It's just trying to get some ideas and to take a little quick look down the road into the offseason to see, what teams could potentially do. But then, of course, I already mentioned it. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been linked. I don't want to give up. I don't want Kawhi, but we're going to see what a trade for Kawhi would look like. And I think it would probably be Julius Randle to the Clippers, because they actually wouldn't. I think there have been some interest in Julius Randle from the Clippers for some reason. I don't know if it's necessarily Julius Randle or it's just, veterans, because they want a mix of veterans and young players and draft capital. So you could do Julius Randle for Kawhi straight up. And then I think you'd have to get rid of like 20 or so million. Oh, you actually only would have to give up 8 million more. So maybe you could get, maybe. Okay, I actually think this okay, I'm stuttering. I thought originally you'd have to give up Gobert and Randall, and I don't want to give up both of them in the same trade. You could do Dante. You do Dante and Julius. Dante's obviously going to be injured most likely for the rest of the season. His Achilles is going to miss the entire season. Maybe you convince him, okay, take Dante's contract. You'll get him next year for the last year of his deal. He'll be essentially an expiring deal. We'll even give you pick 28 or something. I don't remember exactly what pick they have this year. We'll give you that pick and Julius Randle. Maybe here we'll even throw you in a couple second round picks. We'll throw you in a couple second round picks. We don't need picks right now. We're in win now mode. And then bam, this would go through. Dante, Randall, a first and 2 seconds for Kawhi, I think seems very valid. And I think it does. It does help the Timberwolves a little bit, and then obviously gives the Clippers a solid base. I think other teams have more to offer than the Timberwolves, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased and I don't want Kawhi on the Timberwolves, but I don't know. But yeah, I think that's all that's going to do it for the trades. I'm sorry it's not as deep of an episode today, but again, I'm trying to make up for that Bucks episode, which was a little long. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, Miami, Detroit, Houston, Golden State. We looked at already last episode, so you can find it. It's at the end of the episode of the Warriors episode. We talked a little bit about that. It would be a result of a Jimmy Butler 3-team trade. Jimmy Butler would be going to Atlanta, I believe, and then Kuminga and a couple other players from Atlanta would end up going to the LA Clippers. But you can figure out more of that if you want by checking out that video. And now, before I let you guys go, we're going to go through quickly ceiling and floor. There's going to be 2 bullet point notes saying without the moves I suggested and with the moves I suggested, and then followed by the bullet point is going to be, or the colon is going to be a ceiling for you. So, bam. Without the moves I suggested, I think this team is a play-in team. I think if they keep their team relatively the same, maybe sign a free agent here or there, I think this team is a play-in level team. That's their ceiling right now. And then here's the thing. I don't think Kawhi is going to give you that game-changing trade package that makes you a contender all of a sudden. The West is incredibly difficult. So I think without the moves I suggested, or even with the moves I suggested, this is the first time in this NBA series here that we've been doing that I've had the same ceiling with the moves I made or without the moves I made, because I think this team, the Clippers, are the definition of the play-in team. The West is competitive. There's going to be some teams scary. Utah's going to come up. Golden State's going to be much better than they were. Phoenix is going to be better. Portland's going to be better. So many more teams are going to be better, more competitive, that I still think they are slightly competitive. We looked at their lineup. It's intriguing. It's an intriguing lineup. But at the end of the day, their ceiling is going to be a play-in team. Maybe they get out of the play-in and then get first rounded. But that's kind of where I'm seeing for their ceiling right now. But let me know what you guys think about this video, what you think about the LA Clippers, and what you think their ceiling is with some of these moves or without them. Do you think Kawhi, what do you guys think Kawhi Leonard's trade value is? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry it's a little shorter episode today, but we got a new team coming out tomorrow, and after June, of course, we'll go back to our episodes every Tuesday and every Thursday talking about all things Minnesota sports. We got so much more on this channel. If you go ahead and check that out. By the way, we're so close to 200 subscribers. We may or may not have hit it already by the time this video is coming out. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe button. Turn the notification bell button on so you never miss any episodes. And here's the schedule again. We got the Trailblazers tomorrow, another team that I said is probably going to be good next season, more competitive. We'll talk about them and so much more on the next episode of 30 Teams in 30 Days. But in the meantime, stay safe. God bless. Don't forget to keep him first. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.